What up guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going back to a channel called Fornever's video called 30 fictional characters that can actually beat Goku. Now this is Forneverworld's other channel that he has. He has a couple of other ones. I've never seen this one, but I do know he has additional other ones like Forneverworld News, and I've watched his channel for quite a bit. I know if you guys probably have watched his channel too, because if you're a big anime fan or Dragon Ball fan, you've definitely seen his channel. He's a very popular YouTuber, and here's the thing about him. I do respect him. I do think he's a great, YouTuber, and I really do admire him. But when it comes to power scaling, he is very lacking in that department. And it's not his fault because he doesn't mainly focus on that. There's a lot of anime fans that just watch anime for the story and, the writing, and that's cool. I like that too, but I like to focus on power scaling, and that's the main point of my channel, is to power scale, certain characters from these powerful fictional universes, mainly Dragon Ball. And I know you guys love it too. That's why you subscribe to this channel, for me to talk about that. And in this video, he's basically pointing out 30 characters that he believes that could beat, Goku. And here's the thing, I already watched the video. I do agree with some of his points, but some of the other ones I do disagree, and then there's some that I don't know because I just can't know every character and how powerful they are. So I disagree with him, and the reason I disagree with him is I've seen his other videos that he had about power scaling, and I do think he lacks a lot of knowledge in that area, where he's very surface level with his understanding. And he does tend to go more at the more basic general audience's views on what would happen. So that's what I kind of think about it, especially in this video. So I want to get into that. But before I get into that, I want to give a big shout out to a new subscriber of mine by the name of MindWipe96. Big thank you to you for subscribing to this channel. I'm just one subscriber away from hitting 200. I already hit 200 on my second channel, so it would be nice to hit it on this one too. So yeah, let's get into it.
Fiction. But again, let's go through these characters that might give him a run for his money or obliterate him. I mean, before you even leave the Dragon Ball franchise, you gotta talk about the characters in Goku's own series that can, yes, give him a whooping. There's, of course, Beerus, the god of destruction, that although there's been arguments on whether or not Goku has surpassed him, ultimately one of the main goals and focal points of Dragon Ball Super is Goku attempting to surpass the god of destruction, Beerus. And then if you think that Beerus is stronger than Goku, then you definitely gotta agree that Whis is stronger, because Whis is Beerus' teacher, and said to be stronger than even Beerus. And then above all of them, of course, is the top of the cream of the crop, Zeno, being touted as the most powerful being in the Dragon Ball universe, with the ability to erase entire universes with the wave of his hand. Yeah, I think Goku's still got a few steps to climb before he can surpass somebody like Zeno. But jumping outside the box of just Dragon Ball.
Okay, I want to say this before I get on with the video. I wanted to stop it right here because he's focusing on the Dragon Ball universe right now, and then he's gonna shift into characters from other universes like other animes and comic books and stuff. So before he gets into that, I just want to talk about that. Yes, I do agree that Goku would lose to Beerus, Whis, and Zeno, and there's some arguments that are had, especially when it comes to Beerus. And before I get into talking about that, I do want to say you guys are probably gonna notice that there's a bit of a weird audio thing right now. I usually record the audio on top of the screen recording. I don't have one that does both of them because it does cost money, and I'm trying to use the free ones. So I usually use a screen recorder, and then I use and I overlap it with an audio recording of the video, and I try to match it up as best as possible when I make my videos, when I edit them. But I try to do it for this one, and my memory file was completely full. It had no room to record for audio. I can record the screen itself, which is good, but I cannot record the audio. So if you guys have a little problem with audio, just know it's coming directly from my computer itself. I used to do that. I stopped doing that because some people said it didn't sound that good, and I thought it would be better to do that way. And usually I'm quiet. I mute my own audio when I'm watching it because then it will double the recording, and then when I'm pause it, then I let it go. So it's gonna be a little bit different for today. I can't really use my audio recording because, like I said, I've maxed out the memory file on my laptop because I was recording a lot of gameplay for video games that I've been playing. So I just recorded them so many, and I forgot to give it some time to breathe, to make more videos, to use the gameplay footage. because I usually use it and I delete it and then I just create newer ones. But I did it completely this time, and I did not, I did not make any videos where it's required it, so I could delete the additional ones. So I had too much, so I can't do it. So sorry if there's some audio problem, of you guys don't want to hear the audio from the computer, if it sounds cheap to you. Sorry, it's just nothing I can do about it for right now. I'll just need to make more videos where, require gameplay recording that I can put up there, so I can delete the additional ones so I can have more free space. But for right now, it should be fine for just this video. So yeah, that Beerus, people do contest against Beerus being stronger than Goku, because people say, well, Goku is almost close to him when they first fought, even if you discount the whole movie statement that Toriyama had, where Goku's a 7 and Beerus is a 10 and then Whis is a 15. Even if you disregard that, Beerus did use substantial amount of power against Goku in Battle of Gods, and Goku's got significantly more powerful. So for Beerus to be above him, it doesn't really make much sense. Personally, I do prefer it that way, because if Goku surpassed Beerus and the other gods of destruction so quickly, so easily, it would kind of ruin it, because the whole point of Dragon Ball is to get these characters stronger and stronger. If he surpasses them, then Beerus is not that strong. If you just keep on pushing him further, it makes Beerus even stronger, and it would make Goku have to be stronger just to achieve that, which I think is good. But yeah, Beerus is definitely at this point stronger than him. Like I stated before, if Goku was stronger than Beerus, they would have had a rematch and Goku would have won it, because let's be honest, Beerus would definitely want to fight him if he got that much stronger. But the fact that he hasn't fought him in a rematch showcases that even Goku doesn't think it's a point to fight him at this point. So I do agree with that. Some people also contest, Zeno. Not much Whis. They say Whis definitely, obviously, but they contest Zeno because they say he's not very physically powerful. He just can erase, which doesn't make much sense. And I've already discredited that and talked about that before. But I do get where they're coming from when the Tournament of Power is happening and Dispo was fighting and he couldn't see him, and it was just like, really, that doesn't make any sense. So I get it in that regard, but Zeno could definitely beat Goku. Let's be honest, if Beerus is scared of him, then it's just the case. But there's more. There's like Grand Priest. There's countless other characters that we haven't been shown, that will be shown in the future. And right now, Frieza is stronger than him. But yeah, the Dragon Ball characters in general already is stronger than him. He's not the strongest character even in his own universe. But let's see what he, who he's chosen from the characters from outside of the Dragon Ball universe, and what I think about his decision in that. And once again, sorry for the audio if it sounds bad. I could at least talk in the middle of the video while he's, talking.
Ball characters, because we could go all day about all the L's that Goku took in the Dragon Ball franchise. There's a lot of other fictional characters that can give Goku a run for his money, or flat out obliterate him, whichever way you want to look at it. Swinging him from Marvel Comics, the Living Tribunal is a Marvel Comics character who is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, 100%. With the ability to control space, time, and reality itself. Then another character from the Marvel Universe, Beyonder, who is a cosmic being with nearly unlimited power and the ability to warp reality to his will. Then, of course, there's the timeless argument that to this day, fanboys, including myself once upon a time, please don't judge me, will continue to argue till they're blue in the face on whether or not Goku can beat him, and that's Superman. But in particular, Superman Prime 1 million, there is no discussion on whether or not Goku can take him. In this version of Superman, he has absorbed enough energy to become almost omnipotent. He has superhuman speed. Superman Prime has the ability to move and fly incredibly fast. He can likely achieve speeds trillions of times faster than light. Superhuman stamina. Superman Prime 1 million's Kryptonian physiology allows him to exert himself at peak capacity for an undetermined amount of time. Then if you want to look at some villains in DC, there's Darkseid.
So, okay. First two, 100% agree. He's not beating the Living Tribunal. He's the second strongest character in, Marvel Comics. Sometimes there's some inconsistencies with it, which I think is stupid, but he is the second most powerful, and Goku should not be beating such high top tier characters in Marvel, let alone, number 2. So I don't see him beating that. Beyonder also is way too powerful for him. What he's capable of doing with, warping reality to what extent is insane. But the Superman argument, I disagree with that. Like I said, the Superman Prime 1 million, he does not know too much about these characters and their power. He just goes based off of what was told to him. I hate that whole statement of nigh omnipotent, which basically means almost all powerful, which makes no sense. You're either all powerful or not. It's like being perfect or semi-perfect. You can't be semi-perfect. You can only be perfect. So I don't agree with that. Also, he stated he goes at trillion times the speed of light. We all know in comics that's not that impressive. Flash can go trillions of times the speed of light without even having to obtain a godly, form like Superman. So it's not that impressive. And Dragon Ball characters can go way faster than that. What Whis was able to do going across the entire universe within 3 hours would be way faster than, you know, trillions of times the speed of light. It'll be in the quadrillions to maybe quintillion times the speed of light. So it'll be in like the higher ranges of fastest speed of light. So I don't agree with that. Also, if you checked out my Superman Prime 1 million video, I debunked Superman Prime 1 million. There was other people who've had, you know, articles, you know, online debunking his feats. And he, like that one right there, the image that he showed, who said, "Welcome to my universe," which it wasn't his universe. It was just the regular universe, because there was a guy coming from, I think it was the Atom, or I forgot who it was, but it was a guy coming from the microverse up to the regular sized universe, and he said, "Welcome to my universe," because that's where he lives. But yeah, he's very featless, if I'm being honest. I guess the best way you can take him is just take Superman or All-Star Superman, because that's where he came from, and, you know, boost all of his stats to the highest degree. But besides that, he didn't really, he's pretty featless. But even with, you know, that Superman boost up to the highest degree, it would not put him on universal levels or multi-universal levels, which is, you know, how powerful you need to beat somebody like Goku, or even contest against Goku, which I highly doubt that. And now he's saying Darkseid. I'm gonna let him go through a couple more before I, you know, break it down a little bit more. So yeah, let's just continue on.
Darkseid, who is a godlike being with immense strength, speed, and energy projection. And logically, if he's given Superman a run for his money, then you could bet your bottom dollar that Goku would have a problem with him as well. There's Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, with the ability to control time, space, reality, and more. I mean, at the snap of a finger, he probably can give Goku the... There's Galactus, another Marvel character who is a cosmic entity with the power to consume entire planets. Yeah, I don't think Goku's ready for that smoke either. Hopping back over to the animes.
Okay, so I wanted to stop right there because he went through those characters. He said Darkseid because Darkseid beats up Superman and contests against Superman, so he believes if Superman can beat Goku and Darkseid is a rival to him, then how is Goku going to beat him? But that's just ridiculous. Like I said, Superman has not shown any feats that are on universal level of destruction or durability. Speed, he has shown some great speed, but not in combat, you know, scenario. And I know there's been quite a bit of debate, especially now on my channel recently with a couple of videos, but that's just the point. There's no real, you know, feat that people have been showing that he's been doing a universal level of destruction, and on the way they do it, where they're literally destroying the universe from punches, from their physical attacks, not just some, you know, other contradictory bullshit or reasoning why. So no, I don't believe that. Some people might say, well, what about True Form Darkseid? When he was falling, he was going to destroy the whole multiverse, and that's already a feat there. The True Form Darkseid, I think there's quite a bit of debate, because the debate is a lot of people in the you know, fandom, and some disagree with this, but a lot of them believe that, you know, the Darkseid that we've been seeing is an avatar that, you know, Superman has been fighting, you know, the regular, you know, solid form. The, you know, abstract constructional form of him was the, you know, True Form Darkseid, who is multiversal easily. The only problem with that is, besides that comic book issue run that came out years ago at this point, they haven't really shown True Form Darkseid really at all, except for like in the new one, Rebirth, where they had one, but he didn't look like that. He was just a giant version of him with like tusks, like a, you know, a mammoth or something like that. And he did seem powerful, but he didn't show anything on that level of power again. And I do think, because there's, like I said, there's some, you know, comic book fans that disagree with the whole statement that all those times that Superman fought him, or every time we see Darkseid, it's an avatar, and this is the True Form Darkseid. That is more of a thing that people took from one comic book. But remember, these comic books, they contradict each other all the time, so that could not be possibly the case. But let's be honest, I highly doubt that, you know, Forever World knows about, you know, about True Form Darkseid. So I'm thinking he's just speaking about specifically the avatar aspect, even if we want to disagree with the argument that, you know, True Form Darkseid is a thing and all those other Darkseids are just avatars. He's talking about the avatar. The avatars are not that powerful. Yes, you know, he's able to hurt Superman, but Superman always is able to get the one up on him and able to still handle him, even if he does get beat sometimes. You know, Darkseid's avatar hasn't shown anything of that high level of strength. I mean, he got beaten by Doomsday, and Doomsday and them are powerful, but like I said, show me where feats where there are universal levels of power or beyond that, and they don't have that. They don't have the durability or the physical capability beyond that, and they obviously don't have any hacks that would help them out. So yeah, I disagree with you know, that statement wholeheartedly. I do not agree with what he's saying there. He's using his avatar form, which he's been way weaker, and we've seen where his limitations lie. And then the true form Darkseid, like I said, in Rebirth they showed true form Darkseid, but he was not what was shown in, when he originally came in, and he didn't show even the level of power of that true form Darkseid. So there's still argument. It's not 100% definitively stated or proven that there is such thing as a true form Darkseid, and every time we met Darkseid is just an avatar or whatever. That is just, headcanon by the fans that has been widely accepted at this point. Some do contest it, but there is a very strong consensus for it. So I guess if you want to argue the true form Darkseid, yes, but the avatar, no, not at all. And I think he's more on the avatar when it comes to that. So I don't want to harp on him too much, but he mentioned, let me look back a little. He mentioned him, and then he mentioned Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlets. Without it, he's at galaxy level, so Thanos is not going to be contesting against Goku. Maybe definitely Z Goku, but not Super Goku. But the Infinity Gauntlet, here's the thing about it. The Infinity Gauntlet only works in the Marvel Universe, and not even just the entire Marvel, multiverse, just a specific one. So there's countless different universes in Marvel, and, each of these universes have their own Infinity Stones and Infinity Gauntlets, and obviously their own counterparts of these characters. But these Infinity Stones only work in that set universe. So if you go outside that universe, it's not going to work. So let's say they have Goku, Thanos fighting against Goku and Dragon Ball. It's not going to work in Dragon Ball. Or we're going to have it, because we're going to be fair, we fight it in a neutral zone, which it does not, contest to either of the universes, because then they can use that to manipulate off of that. They are specifically there. He cannot use it there either. He could only use it if Goku's in the Marvel Universe. And even if you say Goku's in the Marvel Universe, the Infinity Gauntlet is still universal at the highest. At the highest order, it's universal manipulation, whereas Goku would be beyond universal at multiversal, definitely at this point. So you're saying a guy who's universal level compared to a guy who's multiversal level. He doesn't have some hacks abilities, but we've seen Goku be able to bypass it with his strength alone. Hits time stopping didn't work on him when he got stronger. So if he uses that against him, he can manipulate, do that stuff, even with maybe matter manipulation might not work on him, and he can bypass that. So it might be a little bit iffy, but I still do think Goku could beat him. And then he said Galactus. I do not agree with this. I know a lot of people, especially comic book fans, say Galactus is very powerful, but here's the thing. Galactus is like the character Spectre, which he does mention later on. I'll talk about that. And there's another thing I do want to talk about, which he also states a little bit later. But here's the thing. Galactus, he's a jobber. That's the problem. He's like the Spectre, where he's supposed to be powerful, but he's also a jobber. He's lost to countless characters that are weaker than him, like Silver Surfer and stuff like that, and characters that are not even universal level have beaten him. And his argument for why he thinks, Galactus would beat Goku is ridiculous, and I'll get into that, and this is why I discredit his argument. But Galactus hasn't shown anything on universal level, not that I know of, so I don't think he's going to beat Goku. He's gotten beaten by characters way weaker than him. I don't see him beating him. He clearly doesn't know anything about Galactus. He just hears these big, characters' names, and they're godly beings, and he just assumes, well, if they're godly beings, then they should be strong. But he doesn't know how powerful they are, so he's not really giving a reasoning right now. He does give later on, but you're going to see why I'm saying it's kind of BS.
Spear, although again fans will debate this one till they're blue in the face. There's Saitama from One Punch Man, the main protagonist of the series. He is a character who can defeat anyone with a single punch, and we've seen him having capabilities of being able to reverse time, and feats that, again, I've seen it. I think Goku would get kind of his clock clean. There's an anti-monitor. The anti-monitor's...
Okay, let's talk about that. He said Saitama. These people, it's only the people that don't know stuff about, these characters. I would think as an avid, a manga fan and, a guy who reads, manga all the time, he would know what happened in the recent chapters of, One Punch Man. Yes, they've had more additional chapters, but it wasn't that long ago where we saw, where Saitama's power lied. First of all, that argument about he beats everybody with one punch. Stop that. He did not beat Lord Boros with it, and he didn't beat, Garo with it. Sorry, not Goro. Garo with it, especially Cosmic Garo. He did not beat them. Yes, he was stronger than them and definitely way outmatched them, but he did not beat them with one punch. So stop with this. It's just the name of the show. It's just the name of the series. Stop saying that, well, he's called the One Punch Man, so he beats everybody one punch. When you literally have two characters he did not beat with one punch, and those both characters are significantly weaker than Goku. We have Lord Boros, who is planet level to usually argued high enough to star level, still was able to tank two punches and took a serious punch. And then we have Cosmic Garo, which could be on galaxy level or a bit above that. Definitely not on Goku's level, who's universe to universal levels. And universe is like putting it the lowest. But beyond that is, multiversal levels of power. So how the hell are you going to say that Saitama couldn't beat this guy with one punch, but he could beat Goku with one punch? That is stupid. Also, on top of it, if you read the manga, he would have realized that in the manga it explained that, Cosmic Garo got so powerful that he surpassed Saitama, and for Saitama to beat him, he had to get stronger and stronger. So he let his emotions out, and his emotions coming out was able to make him getting stronger and pass above him. If he was having infinite power, he wouldn't need something to boost him to get him more powerful. He would have that unlimited power right there and then. So he needs something to push him to get stronger and stronger, and we saw he has a limit. It's just that he can surpass it, but that's just regular shit that we saw with Goku too. So that's incorrect too. Also, you said you can go back in time. I've stated this countless times. That's not how time works in Dragon Ball. They have like alternate timelines. So if he was to go back in time and hit Goku, it would be a Goku from another timeline. So it wouldn't really work. So yeah, that doesn't work. He hasn't beaten his own characters with one punch. And on top of that, if you saw the manga, it even showed that he reached his limit against Cosmic Garo and had to surpass that limit just to beat him. He did it pretty good and powerful, fast and powerfully, but he still had to surpass it. Now he's saying the Anti-Monitor, which I think is quite interesting, but I'll just let him, go on with this one.
DC Comics character who is a being of pure antimatter and possesses the power to destroy entire universes. Considering the fact that one of the biggest feats we've seen Goku achieve is when he was battling against Beerus and the universe was shaking, I don't think necessarily he can destroy entire universes yet. So, yeah, this Anti-Monitor is probably above Goku. The one above all, not to be confused with all.
Okay, let's stop right there. One above all, 100%. I believe it because he's literally the god of the Marvel Universe. I stated if Living Tribunal, Goku cannot beat him or Beyonder, then he should not be able to be the god. So there, I'm not arguing with that. I don't argue with that. But the Anti-Monitor, let's talk about some stuff that he stated right there. He stated the reason why he doesn't think Goku can beat him is because the Anti-Monitor wiped out universes, whereas the Goku's biggest feat was in Battle of Gods, where he shook the universe, didn't destroy it, shook it. Once again, this is why I do not take his arguments, credibly, because he lacks a lot of knowledge and common sense and nuance when it comes to, power scaling. He still thinks that Goku's only shook the universe, didn't threaten the universe, which any fan of my channel or, power scaling when it comes to Dragon Ball that is fair knows 100% at this point that yes, Goku would have destroyed the universe. We know why it didn't, and I'll get into that. But he himself doesn't think Goku's even universal. So he's like, well, this guy's universal and beyond that, so Goku's not even on that level. That's how weak he thinks Goku is. First, let's talk about, why he is universal. I made a whole video about this. When he was fighting against Beerus, it was stated that with those 3 clashes, the entire universe would have been destroyed. But it wasn't just the universe. There was additional other universes we had. Heaven, Hell, the other world. We had Supreme Kai's planet, realm, which literally revolves around the Dragon Ball macrocosm, which they stated, yes, it's a macrocosm, and it was 1/10 the size of that. So the Dragon Ball universe that it was destroying was not just the universe, it was everything included. So that would have been multiple universes, and pretty much a macrocosm, which would have been, and Screwtax says, or Death Battle says it's like 9 universes. Personally, I don't know if it is exactly 9, but it is multiple universes at least. So he was threatening multiple universes at once, and even they agree with it, yet he's arguing against that. He didn't just shake it. We saw that those shakes, it said with a third one it would have destroyed it. So within 3 blows he could have done it. But the reason it didn't happen, which I don't know, was he paying attention or did it just slip his mind since it was so long ago? It was because Goku was able to, on a third time, to match Beerus's speed, his angle, and his power. It was stated by the Elder Kai. When Supreme Kai asked him, like, hey, why isn't the universe getting destroyed or having those shakes? What is happening? And he said Goku finally figured it out. He found out how to angle it out perfectly and match Beerus' power. Once when he did, the shockwaves were stopping because we saw the line that was coming out. It was canceling each other out. So it was Beerus' shockwave coming out, Goku's shockwave coming out at the same time, same angle, same amount of power, hitting each other, and then just, stopping it so there was no shockwaves. So he can hit with that power. And as the fight progressed, he was able to do it. And he was like, how's he able to hit him and not produce it? And he stated once again, now he learned how to control it. They're just brawling. So they've learned how to control that destructive power within them so it doesn't come out. So yes, even they stated, and the narrator stated that he has the power to destroy a universe, even in his Super Saiyan form. So it's stated directly. It's like he's not even paying attention. That's what happens with most of these people that say that these characters are not universal or Goku's not universal. It's simply not because they aren't. It's just that these guys are not paying attention to it. And that's on them. So yes, that I disagree with. But the Anti-Monitor, let's talk about him. His power is quite interesting. It's quite interesting, how powerful he is. Because yes, he was threatening to wipe out, the DC multiverse as a whole. He was wiping out countless universes, but how he did it is really important. A few things that I have to explain about the DC cosmology. I think I've just explained it before, but I'll have to re-explain it again, be specifically pertaining to, the Anti-Monitor himself. So what is interesting about the DC cosmology? Well, if you read the Infinite Crisis storyline event where he was first shown, and we had the first big reboot and reset of the DC universe, or multiverse as a whole, because before this, DC, they had multiple different universes, and they did some connections and stuff, and some other ones where they had that was too crazy, they just said, oh, it's like what if stuff. So they try to swipe it under the rug because it was getting convoluted, the writing, to the point where it was too ridiculous, and the writers and the viewers were all like, what the hell is happening? So the writers thought the best way to fix this would be to write a story event where they re-erase all these other universes and basically go with a more minimalistic approach instead of this, big grandeur approach, because they had so many universes, so many characters, it was too much to keep track of, and the continuity was getting too muddled up. So to simplify it, they did this event where they had a big threat that was going to wipe out these other universes until there's only 3 left, and then combine them into one mega universe, which they will start all over again. Obviously, they did it more times and messed up, but that was the first time they did it. And they did it through Anti-Monitor. The Anti-Monitor was a character who came... there's these godly beings called the Monitors. And the first Monitor... And there was, I forgot what happened in the full story, but he had a fight with, something happened and he split up, and then there was the Anti-Monitor, which was the evil version of him. They both fought, and he got stuck in his antimatter universe. Now, the antimatter universe, there's only one, but the positive matter universe, which is basically just the multiverse, it is countless universes, and the Anti-Monitor wanted to get rid of them. So once when he woke from his slumber and he came back out, he came to the positive matter universe to wipe out the, positive matter. Because when his negative matter comes into contact with the positive matter, it cancels each other out, but that cancellation basically ends up erasing the positive matter universe, and somehow it gets fed into his antimatter universe, making it bigger and more powerful, which in turn makes him more powerful, feeding directly to him. So it was explained through that story that there's countless universes here, but they kind of point at the fact that that's not really the case, and I'll get into that. What happens in this event is he's wiping out countless universes, and it stated he's already wiped out 1,000 universes, and there's only a few left, which goes against the whole there's infinite universes. That seems like just, a benchmark statement instead of them giving literal numbers. But they stated 1,000 universes wiped out, there's a few left, meaning there's going to be 1,000 plus universes in the old DC universe continuity. So there wasn't infinite, it was just a massive amount that they didn't want to, say it's this big or that big. They don't want to, just pick or whatever. So he wiped out 1,000 universes, so that would put him multiversal level of power. But then you got to look at how he did it. It was explained in that story event that he started off from the newest universes to go back all the way to the oldest, which would be Earth Prime. Why did he start from the newer universes? It was stated in that comic book that when the Big Bang happened, it created the multiverse, and as each universe got created, at first there was one universe, but there's this whole event. I'm not going to get into it completely. But as the got reset again and they did the Big Bang, it set out the multiverse, and what happened is from this one prime universe, Earth Prime and Universe Prime, whatever. As it separated, each other individual universe that was coming out was weaker and less, structurally sound as the last, because as more universes were coming out from that Big Bang, explosion and event, each other substantial universe that came from it had a more of a problem with their structure, because the fabric of reality was being stretched. It was being stretched to such a insane and alarming rate that it was becoming more fragile. So the newer universes, or which are more on the tail end of the multiverse, were more fragile and easier to destroy than the older ones, especially Earth Prime. That universe it was the hardest to destroy, because it was basically the point where it started off from origin. But towards the end, that's where it was stretched out. So it would have the weakest, cosmological structure. And he deliberately attacked from the newest all the way to the oldest, because he noticed that the newest would be easier to destroy than the oldest. If he went for Earth Prime right there, he would have just won. But he didn't. He went for that one. Why? Because he was not powerful enough. So there's already one key right there. He was not powerful enough, so he had to go with the tactic of wiping out the weaker universes instead of just going for the strong one, which would have given the victory already. Two, another problem that comes into this was the fact that it didn't happen instantly. It happened throughout time passing. It was a lot faster, and as he was swallowing up more universes, the more power he was getting, it was speeding up the process faster, but it did take time. And here's the thing, the argument about being a universal being, for you to be actually a universal level being, you would pretty much have to be, what's the thing called? You have to one-shot that universe. So like, if say I'm a planet destroyer, if I'm a planet buster, I have to one-shot that planet. If I fire an attack that hits the planet and the planet's getting destroyed over time and then explodes, then I'm not a planet buster. I have planet destroying potential and power, but I'm not a planet buster, because to be a buster, you instantly destroy it. Whereas a destroyer, you can take time to destroy something. So he was a multiversal level threat, definitely. He was, able to destroy universes, but he was not able to bust universes, or definitely bust, a multiverse. Because if he was, he would have just fired off one attack, it would have obliterated the entire multiverse instantly. And for the universes, it also took some time, because the positive matter had to come to contact with the negative matter to cancel it out, to erase it. So he was also, once again, he didn't do it instantly, it took time. So there's another problem with that. And then the third big problem, sorry for the jump cut, I just kind of lost my train of thought, so I had to get my bearings back together, so sorry for that. But yeah, the third problem with the Anti-Monitor's feat is the fact that how he did it by having positive matter and negative matter connecting. It wasn't because he had such high level destructive power that he was wiping these universes out or the multiverse and threatening it. It was the fact that he was introducing negative matter to positive matter. And we know this is a real concept in real life. When they come to contact, they basically wipe it into nothingness. It's basically they come to contact because they're the opposites, and once when they hit, they basically obliterate each other completely. So he didn't destroy it with his own power. It was through a scientific means. It was more of a chemical chain reaction, was the reason why it was, wiped out, because of the, science between, positive and negative. And another thing that puts an even bigger damper on that argument, fourth problem with that, is the fact he didn't do this with his own antimatter power. He used his engines. He had a big ship that was in the positive matter universe, or I think it was in the antimatter universe, where he had these engines that were pumping out the antimatter from his own universe. Yeah, it was in his own universe. I forgot. But he was pumping out the antimatter from his own universe into the positive matter universe, and as it was coming to contact, it was wiping it out and feeding it back into the machine. And Barry Allen Flash realized this, so he started running around it counterclockwise, using the Speed Force. And as he did, it basically pushed in all the antimatter energy back at itself, destroying the machine. And this basically put a big hindrance on the Anti-Monitor's plan. He did, was still able to go through with it, because it was towards really the tail end of his plan. So it was basically it was too late at that point. But he did put a big hindrance on it. So yeah, I wouldn't say he's even. It's hard to argue if he's universal or especially multiversal because of those reasons. One, he had to attack from the weakest side of the universe instead of the strongest. Two, the fact that it took time to do it. Three, so it doesn't mean he one-shotted. Three, he had to use some scientific means for it to happen. And then 4, he basically used a machine to do it. And the machine, once one is destroyed, he was screwed. So I don't know where to put him in there. And 2 more other instances where I can make a solid argument against how powerful the Anti-Monitor is and him being universal, which I'll get into. Once again, sorry if I'm taking too long on this. I know I'm harping on him quite a bit. It's just that this was a long story event, and I just thought it would be good to put in this. So in that story event, after that, when his armor gets broken off, we see his regular, true side. And as he's fighting, all the heroes from the Silver Age attack him at once. And it's stated in the comic book, literally itself, that they attacked with the power of a solar system. And it seriously hurt him. It didn't kill him, but it seriously hurt him. So he was hit by the power of a solar system level attack, and that significantly damaged him. So even if you say, well, he wasn't beaten by it, he was damaged by a solar system level attack, which would not put him anywhere near universal level. And then Golden Age Superman, who is significantly weaker than him, picked up an asteroid and threw it at him and really hurt him. So there was that. And then the biggest point after that was there was a Yellow Lanterns event where the Yellow Lanterns were attacking, and he became a Yellow Lantern with Superboy Prime also. They came to attack, and for the Green Lanterns to stop him, they set off one of their batteries, their big giant battery pack where they basically charge their rings. It blew up, and as it did, they used it on the Anti-Monitor. It blew up, it destroyed his armor, and significantly damaged him, enough to the point where Superboy Prime came in to finish the job and ended up killing him. So he was significantly damaged by the Green Lantern's major battery lantern blowing up on him. Now some of you guys might say, well, isn't that very powerful because these battery lanterns power all the lantern rings? Yes, but if you look in the comic book, it's stated that the battery's explosion was equivalent to having enough power to destroy the galaxy. So basically, it was stated that this battery exploding has enough power to wipe out a galaxy. And he was able to tank it, but significantly got damaged by it, and ended up getting killed because of it. So yeah, he is powerful once again, I want to say, but the fact that he got hurt by a galaxy level attack that was strong enough to significantly damage him, once again showcased he's not on universal levels of power. So if he's universal level power, the battery exploding, and being a galaxy destroying, explosion, it shouldn't have done any damage to him if he's universal and beyond that. So I just want to say that. So let's get back into it.
All for one from My Hero Academia. This Marvel Comics character is the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe
100%.
with omnipotent abilities, and again, Goku, you'll be alright. Then there's another version of Thanos with the Heart of the Universe. Thanos with the Heart of the Universe possesses unlimited power and can control reality itself. The Great Evil Beast from DC Comics.
Okay, so yeah, he said the Heart of the Universe. I heard people mention this. It's kind of like the Infinity Stones, but I think you can use in other universes, but it's still universal level power. Sorry, I need to put my laptop in charge. But yeah, it's still universal level of power. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I don't think a universal level power, item is strong enough to, beat Goku. I'm sorry. I don't know enough about the Heart of the Universe, but I do know that it's supposed to be on universal level, so I don't think even with the Heart of the Universe he can beat Goku, because it only max out to universal levels of power. But we already know at this point that for Neverworld doesn't even think that Goku is a universal level being. Now, he said this character, I've heard about him a bit. Once again, I don't know enough about him. But I'm going to say yes. Why? Because he's a cosmic being in the DC universe. If he's a high top tier cosmic, entity in DC, then yes, I'll say he'll beat him, because I don't think Goku can contest against those guys. He can't even contest against the gods in his own universe, let alone beings of this magnitude in the Marvel and DC comics. So I do agree with that.
He's a cosmic,
even though I don't know too much about
power,
him.
Capable of destroying entire universes. Yeah,
okay.
See on this list a lot
then
of
yeah, Goku doesn't beat him.
Universes and warp reality, and Goku can't do any of that. Then there's the presence.
No, Goku can destroy universes. That's
from
incorrect.
DC Comics, a supreme being of the DC universe and has godlike
True.
powers.
He's just like the one above all.
The anime sphere, there's Tenchi Muyo's Kami Tenchi. Kami Tenchi is a godlike being with infinite power and abilities, capable of manipulating the very fabric of reality. A lot of people probably are going to side up.
I've never heard of Tenchi Muyo. I've heard of it. Here's the thing. In the power scaling community, debating community, and the what's the thing called? And in the anime community, you're gonna hear these things, but that doesn't mean you know very well. he stated that guy Kami Tenchi from the Kamui universe. I don't know what that is. I've heard of this character. I've heard he's ridiculously overpowered. I just don't know. I'm not gonna say that Goku could beat him, but I just don't know how powerful he is. If you guys do know of him, don't give me feats of he did this or that. Just tell me what show it's from. I'll just watch it myself and then check out the feats myself and probably make a video on it in the future. But yeah, I've heard that he's more powerful than Goku. I'm not going to say 100% that that's the case, but I'm not going to disagree either because I don't know anything about him. So, but if he's going based off the fact that it's because he can warp reality, and that's the only reason that he thinks he could, beat Goku would lose to him, I don't really agree with that because, once again, warping reality in your universe and stuff like that, it's quite complex because there's two factors for that. One, Dragon Ball, we know that hacks abilities and techniques do work, but it does not work on everybody. Certain characters with certain levels or a certain amount of power can bypass and surpass these hacks abilities with just power alone. We've seen characters who had hacks abilities use it on the Dragon Ball characters, and guess what? It didn't work. Why did it not work? Because the way the Dragon Ball's power system works is hacks and these crazy abilities only work on those who are weaker than them. So if it's a character that's stronger and by a lot stronger than him, then it will not work. So we've seen this through time manipulation, mind control. We've seen it through matter manipulation. We haven't seen it through reality warping fully because that is the highest tier of power you can have. But we don't know. He could probably be able to defend against it with that logic. And then the second thing is when we have characters that can control reality, you need to take into consideration the universe they come from, because when it comes to reality warping, there's two ways to have this power. One way is it's either connected to the universe itself that it comes from, or it's just a power itself. Now you're going to probably be thinking, what do you mean by that? If it's a power by itself, that means that they just have the power to warp reality. So that means they can go into another universe and warp that reality. They just have reality warping as their power. But then there's characters that have their reality warping literally tied to and connected to their own universe. So basically the reason they can manipulate reality is because they are from that reality. So they can manipulate that reality and the people from there. But if they were to go, let's say, outside of their reality to another reality or a neutral zone, which we would usually use in these fights, it would not work because that power is connected and contains to that universe. Now, if their power is alone, just reality warping, then yes, it will work anywhere else. It can work anywhere. But those ones are directly tied to that universe and that cosmology. So you need to know the cosmology. I just don't know at this point of which one is which. So I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. I'm not going to say Goku definitively wins or definitively loses. It might lean more on losing, but I just don't know at this point.
This one because it's not a battle series, but Haruhi Suzumiya from the melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya. This girl is again a reality warper with godlike powers capable of altering reality at will. I mean, fam, can Goku warp reality? But can he beat Goku? Looks can deceive you, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of characters I don't know. So these are two of the characters I don't know. I do like anime, but I don't watch every anime, so I don't know about that character too much, but I've heard of his name. I've never really heard of her. He's saying she can warp reality. That's his big argument, is they're reality warpers, but I already made those two arguments. Is her reality warping connected to the universe she comes from and that's why? Or is it just a power that she has? And we also know that Dragon Ball characters can surpass it with power alone. So if Goku's way stronger than her, but she has reality warping, he could probably, negate the effects of that because we've seen it in Dragon Ball. It isn't 100% guarantee, but it is definitely a defense that is there. I will just have to check this out. So maybe in the future I'll check out about these series to see, how powerful these characters are.
But Puella Magi Madoka Magica's Madoka Kaname will give Goku a run for his money. I'm sorry, he will be annihilated.
Yeah, I've never heard of this anime.
Madoka is a powerful magical girl with the ability to rewrite the laws of the universe. Again, tapping into things Goku can't. Does Michael Demiurgus?
Yes, and also I want to say this. People assume that, this character can warp reality. Here's the thing. Just because a certain character can warp reality and the other character cannot, does not mean that that character is going to lose. They might not have the ability to warp reality, but they might have defense against reality warping. Like I said, in Dragon Ball, they can surpass it with power alone. Now, that doesn't mean they unlock those hacks abilities themselves or have anything around that, but they can negate it. Goku's able to negate, Hit's time-skipping ability without having the ability to manipulate time at all. Goku cannot manipulate time at all, but has the strength to go past, time manipulation abilities. So just because she or the other character or any of these characters have reality warping doesn't mean it will work on Goku, because if he can surpass time without having the power of time, he could surpass, reality warping without having the power of reality warping himself. I'm not saying that he can, I'm just saying that isn't alone, can't just be an argument. We will have to go through a little more. I'll definitely go through more, but I'm not going to say 100% that gives them a win, but it does give them a major leg up.
From DC Comics, an archangel with godlike powers capable of controlling reality and manipulating the laws of physics. There's Lucifer Morningstar from DC Comics, a fallen archangel with godlike powers capable of manipulating reality and possessing immense strength. DC Comics, the Spectre is a cosmic entity with godlike powers capable of controlling reality.
Like I said, he mentions him before. He mentions him in this video. For those two archangels, 100%, I'm not going to argue that. I don't think Goku's going to beat... he can't even beat the Angels of his universe. He's not going to beat that one. But it's not Spectre, it's Spectrum. You can see already right here, he does not know much about these characters that he's talking about. He's just saying basic surface level things. So his name's not Spectre, it's Spectrum. But here's the bigger problem with that. Spectrum, like I stated, like Galactus, both of these characters are not Spectrum, Spectre. He's Spectre, sorry. You're going to say, well, you're making fun of him not knowing how to say it, but you're saying it wrong. Yeah, the Spectre, the problem with him is, yes, technically, on writing, he should be way stronger than Goku, and Goku should not have a chance against him with what we've seen from him. But the problem with his character is, he's a jobber a lot of times. He's one of those characters that are written to be powerful, but also beaten by other characters that are not that powerful, or powerful but not on his level. He's been beaten by a ton of characters, and even comic book fans agree that he's a jobber, just like Galactus. So I think he's more in that camp. It could, logically, he should be, but from what we've seen in the comics, it's not very consistent, so it can go either way. If other characters are weaker than Goku can do it, then I think Goku can also do it. So Spectre is kind of, it's iffy with this.
And possessing immense strength, again, a lot of these types. Marvel Comics is Galactus, a cosmic entity with godlike powers capable of consuming entire planets, and once again possessing immense strength. So yeah, if you could consume entire planets, I think you could consume Goku. Marvel Comics is Eternity, a cosmic...
Let's stop there. That's the big argument that I was going to say. So his reasoning for why Galactus would beat Goku was the fact that he can devour planets, and Goku can't beat him. Devouring planets doesn't mean shit. Goku was able to destroy planets all the way back, and some people say, in the Saiyan saga, I say in the Frieza saga, he was able to destroy planets and above that, so he was able to destroy planets well back then. At this point, he's universal to beyond universal levels of power. A character that eats planets compared to a character who destroys universes. That is not anywhere near close. And it's funny how he says that when he literally fought Moro, who's a character who basically turns living planets into balls of energy and devours them whole. Moro, people were connecting, is saying he's literally the Galactus of Dragon Ball universe. He eats planets. So his argument, he cannot beat somebody who eats planets, when he has a character who ate planets and is stronger than him. And not only that, his only argument is he ate planets when Goku could easily destroy planets and now destroy universes, which should be a feat way beyond that.
Entity with near omnipotent powers capable
I agree with this one,
reality, and once again being strong. This one might be debatable, but I still feel like throwing it in there. There's Akira's Tetsuo Shima, a powerful psychic with godlike powers capable of manipulating reality and possesses...
He needs to stop saying that. This character does not... He just says all these characters manipulate reality. This character does not manipulate reality. He uses telekinesis or to lift things up, and he can manipulate his body and technology, but he does not manipulate reality itself. I know when he exploded there was the whole reality changing explosion, but that was only from the explosion itself when he died, and it didn't even do that, but that was from his death. From his power alone, he did not have reality warping powers. So no, that's not the case. I don't see Akira beating Goku ever, and he does not have reality warping powers.
Immense strength, although some might throw the argument that Goku's Kamehameha would finish him off. You be the judge. There's somebody that with a pen can take Goku down, and that's of course Light Yagami from Death Note. He possesses the power of the Death Note, which can kill anyone whose name is written in it, and considering Son Goku was at once upon a time in Dragon Ball a hero, I think Light would fairly quickly find out Goku's name. I think the main problem he would have is trying to get Kakarot into the Death Note, or figure out that his actual name is Kakarot. I guess how would that work now that I think of it? There's the loose V.
He just contradicted himself there. So people's argument against Light is the fact that they say that yes, he can write people's name in the Death Note and kill them, but the rule is it kills humans. So Goku's not a human; he's a Saiyan, so it wouldn't technically work. Second of all, the other problem with that is Goku's not his real name is Kakarot, so he wouldn't know. So he already like ruined that right there. But also, that goes under the assumption that he just hides and finds out Goku's name. But usually these fight scenarios is them meeting face to face. So if Goku met with him face to face, he would be able to obliterate him. But now he's going to Lelouch. I want to see what his arguments here for this.
He possesses the power of the Geass, which allows him to control the mind of others. So essentially, think he could walk up to Goku and say, "Kill yourself," or "Blast a hole through your heart," and voila! Considering I don't think Goku would be able to deduce what's happening to him as he's having a simple conversation with homie. Yeah, Goku, bye! There's Dr. Manhattan from the...
Okay, so his thing is he can... the Geass basically controls a person's mind. Only one command you can give them. After that, you can't use it against them again. Unless they get the memories erased or some shit, I forgot. But yeah, it does that. But here's the problem. That's going under the assumption that Goku and the Dragon Ball characters have no defense against psychic attacks. And I already made a video on this talking about Itachi's, Tsukuyomi now working on Goku, because Dragon Ball characters, it is explained that, their power comes from not only their body or their spiritual, energy, within them, but also from their mind. Mind was a part of it. It was mind, vigor, courage. They had, other stuff. So there's a lot of mind stuff. And they never just train physically, they also train their minds. If you've seen, they've done, after image, not after image, what the fuck am I thinking? Image training. Krillin and Gohan did it when they're going to, Planet Namek, and Trunks did it in Dragon Ball Super when he was imagining, Goku Black, to the point that he actually bled from his mouth. So he was feeling physical damage in the real world from mental training. So Goku's done image training, so he would be prepared for it. If I don't think, Itachi Tsukuyomi would work on him, I don't think Lelouch's his Geass would work on him. Once again, it's like, you are a Dragon Ball fan, how do you not know this? Because in Dragon Ball we had Babidi use, we had him use mind control on Vegeta, and it didn't work. Why? Because Vegeta was able to break out of it with his, sheer power alone. So yes, mind hacks do not work on them.
The Watchman, he possesses godlike powers and can manipulate matter and energy at will. There's omnipotent presence.
Yeah.
The omnipotent presence is a cosmic entity with godlike powers capable of manipulating reality, and again possesses...
I agree with the Dr. Manhattan part. That's what I want to say. That I don't know about Cthulhu, but people say yes.
Possesses immense spiritual pressure and the ability to manipulate reality with his Zanpakuto. In particular, if Goku looks at his Shikai, Goku will be seeing whatever is at Aizen's disposal, whatever Aizen wants him to see. And yeah, it might be curtains for Goku. Not to mention the fact that Bleach characters, especially by that point, are massively hacked and strong. I think Goku might catch an L at the hands of Aizen as well, assuming he sees his Shikai. And I really hope...
So that was Forever's, analysis on 30 different characters that could beat Goku. There wasn't literally 30 characters, but it was a significant amount of characters that he mentioned. A lot of the characters I disagreed with. Only a handful I did agree with. I think there's other characters that you don't need to have some of the most ridiculously overpowered characters to, still beat Goku. Because he is decently powerful, but he's not that unbelievably powerful. But let's talk about the Aizen thing, because that was the last thing. Dr. Manhattan, I definitely can agree with that. I don't have that much of a problem with it. There could be, arguments against Dr. Manhattan beating him, but I can see that. Cthulhu, I don't know much about that. I don't really care about Cthulhu, so maybe, who knows. But Aizen, no, I don't agree. He stated that he has spiritual pressure. The spiritual pressure only works on those who are weaker. Goku's significantly stronger than him. It would not affect him at all. Also, Goku, they train, like I said, mind, body, and spirit. So he would have his own spiritual pressure, because when they power up, they can feel their spiritual pressure. So he would be crushing Aizen with his immense pressure. And then he says if he uses Zangetsu, I think it's called, basically it was psychic illusion. He stated you can warp reality. He's not warping reality. He's warping the perception of reality on his victims that stare at his blade when he unsheathes it. But since, only people that are, from the Soul Reaper Society or have some connections to it who have that power can see them. Most characters cannot, so Goku probably wouldn't be able to see him, so he wouldn't be able to even see his Zanpakuto, even if he was able to, show it off to him. So yeah, Goku wouldn't be able to see it anyway. And some of you say, well, wouldn't that give him an advantage? But remember, Goku could still sense energy. So he might not be able to see him, but he could sense him, his presence around, and be able to, handle that in that case. Yeah. The illusion itself, I would say, is just like with, Lelouch's Geass, where he mind controls people. And Aizen's thing, works with the perceptions, like they're like what they see, what they hear, what they smell, what they taste, what their brain's like thinking. So it does that. But like I stated, they trained on their mind before, and yes, it has worked on powerful characters, but it's not like the characters that it's worked on have mind. First of all, they don't have psychic abilities, and then second of all, they don't have psychic protection in their mind either. So I wouldn't really agree with that argument and that point there. I kind of get where he's coming from and where he's trying to make the argument there, but I feel like it's going to be the same scenario with Bob D, where he does it. It might work for a bit, but I think Goku, he would get the grasp of what's happening and then break out of the illusion, just like with the Tsukuyomi. Like I mentioned before, if I don't think Itachi's Tsukuyomi could work on Goku, then I don't think that Aizen's Zoigetsu could also work on Goku. I just think that these psychic abilities, you would have to have a highly powerful psychic character who's physically also really powerful to work on them. Aizen is powerful, but he's not on Goku's level. So I think it's going to be like with Itachi, where he'll be able to shatter that illusion, unlike the other characters who don't really have psychic protection, but Goku does. So I disagree with that. I disagreed with most of his list. A lot of his points, I think it was incorrect. Like I said, it's very surface level. I wouldn't really take his arguments too seriously. I think I'll just take it with a grain of salt because he is very lacking on a lot of his parts. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.